Okay, here we go. Oh dear. Okay, struggle bus. Struggle bus, but the mic always. And that's actually very timely because we'll be talking about that today on this episode. But welcome back to the Welcome to My Tent podcast. If you didn't yet already see or know, we are also now on video via YouTube, which is very exciting. So maybe you're watching this on video. If you are, hi, hello. It is good to actually see you. And that has been really fun to add in to the places that you can view, listen, do all the things, this podcast. But we're back today with a solo episode on what's going on over here in the Sarah Johnston world. I'm coming up on 1 year being fully in business for myself. It has been a very transformative year. It has been very eye-opening and educational. It has been a struggle. It has been incredible. I always would read or hear people who say they started a business talk about this, but you don't really get it until you do it. And I've been doing it for almost a year. It has been such a blessing. It has been so much fun. But there got to be a point where it was time to evolve my offers and my messaging, my branding, pretty much my entire world, which felt really scary, but also empowering at the same time. So we're going to be talking about where we are today. We're going to back up a little bit first though, and chit chat quickly about how we even got here, right? So let's do that first. Some of you have been along for this journey and this ride. If you have been, thank you so much. If you were there just over a year ago when things came to a head with my corporate position, I do have an episode on that as well if you want to go and listen to that one. A little bit about what it was like to come back from maternity leave and what was going on there and the challenges that were presenting itself in the position that I was in. And at the time, it was an incredibly difficult thing to go through. It didn't make a lot of sense. It was extremely terrifying, but it got to a point where I knew it was time for my exit in that world. I had been in a corporate position for 12 plus years in the same industry. It had been all that I had ever known. And even when I switched jobs, the longest I ever took off in between was maybe 3 or 4 days. So I threw myself into a world that I knew not much about. I knew a little bit about it. And this is where it was interesting because my own personal passions for health and fitness and teaching fitness and health coaching came about because of my own journey. And I have plenty of content about my own journey and how I got to want to get certified and all of those things. So I won't bore you with all of that information. You can listen to those if you would like. But I found that during the pandemic, when I was at my house and not going anywhere or doing anything, I was able to immerse myself in a lot of education around health coaching and fitness and the wellness world per se. And I was doing that on the side along my corporate career. So I was that crazy person getting up at 4:30 and teaching the 5 a.m. classes, coming home, doing my corporate job. This was also, yes, before I had children. So that definitely plays a factor into all of this. And I was health coaching on the side of my corporate career. And I did that for about 3.5, 4 years before I ended up leaving my full-time position to do this. So it's not to say that I quit my job and out of thin air decided to start a business. I had been doing small things here and there. It was not my full-time world. So I at least had a launch pad. But what made the most sense for me was to be a health coach full-time because that was my prior experience and that's what I was doing before I left corporate to do my own thing. Now, when I left, I also realized that I did enjoy what I did in the corporate world, which is very different than health and wellness. I worked in media, marketing, and advertising in both the ad buying placement side. I worked in the third-party data world for consumer packaged goods brands. And I also worked in the data identity analytics world for years as well. So that's definitely not the same thing as teaching someone how to do yoga. But I really did enjoy what I was doing. The issue with the ending to my corporate career wasn't the content of everything, it was the environment, and we'll leave it at that. But I realized I also still loved that world. And so I got into my now full-time business ownership position initially as just a health coach. And that's what I was branding myself and marketing myself as such. But I really wanted to also keep the operational marketing data analytics part of my brain alive. This is where I feel like I have found both a unicorn position where I'm currently in, but was a big aspect as to why I needed to get to a point to evolve who I was as a business owner. I wasn't just Sarah Johnston Wellness, and I was not operating solely as a wellness provider once I got up and running and into this world. And I think I believe she will say yes, Tara, if you're listening to this, but I'm probably going to have Tara on at some point, because I was able to connect with Tara from the Monk Review Project and found myself partnering with her and working for her on a part-time basis in the operational world. And I'm doing both of these things now, kind of 50-50. I'm still coaching and there's fitness involved, but I was also, for a large portion and majority of my day, living in a world that I actually previously lived in. So I operated in this model for a while where I was doing all of my operational and marketing stuff without even really talking about it. And everywhere else, my website, my branding, my logos, my page was solely dedicated to wellness. Here's where I really had to think about all of this, because I still do care deeply, and wellness and health is a large aspect of what I am doing. What I've also found very interesting is, as a business owner, where you're the one making all of these decisions, you also have to be very keenly aware to what's happening in market. When I was in the corporate world and I was working at very large companies, a lot of times we were just told what to do. Those decisions were being made for us, and we were then the people of the company that were living out the choices that were made. We were not involved with those decisions necessarily. So now, as a business owner, I'm having to stay on top of the market to understand what's going on, have to have a very deep understanding and knowledge of my client base, my ideal client, what's going on there, and then make decisions that are according to such, which is stressful because I didn't operate like that for a long time. And now I feel as if I am owner, marketer, billing, finance, tech, like I am all of the things now. It is me. But what I'm realizing, and what I have seen, especially over maybe the past 6 months or so half of the time that I've been in business for myself, is the word wellness, first and foremost, people are just sick of. It's a word now that I think has lost so much meaning that people do not digest the information on it like they used to. And I also think it's part of the reason that this is happening is it's just such a big word. The word's almost too big for people to really understand and connect to. So as I'm working with my clients and getting all of this incredible information back on different types of people and what people need and how people are finding success, I started to realize that I am not a wellness coach necessarily. I am consulting on personal development, or I am consulting on business development in the world that I live in with Tara and TMP, helping the health and efficiency of businesses, just as I am helping the health and efficiency of humans. So this rebrand process started where I really wanted to move away from the word wellness and taking that out of the messaging, because I think that that was doing more confusion than good. All that I have done with my clients so far has gone so far past what people think of when they hear the word wellness. And as much as I can try to change the conversation around it, it's taken on such a life of its own. The health and wellness industry, billions and billions of dollars, is unfortunately so much stronger than one singular person. And I can scream into the abyss all day long that our health and who we are as people goes so far past what people think of off the jump when they hear the word wellness or hear the word health. Think about it yourself. What are the first 3 words that come to your mind when you think of that? I would say the most common responses that I get are food, fitness, self-care. Those are aspects to obviously who we are as people and how we feel. But it's very hard when you're branding yourself as such to get people to think of you as anything else. What I also have found to be very fascinating is the melding of the 2 worlds that I now live in, where initially as a business owner, I wanted to separate church and state. I wanted my corporate career and persona to not be who I was as a business owner. And I did myself a disservice by doing that. PS, because what I have come to realize is so much of what I used to do as a corporate working girl, melds so well into consulting with individuals, being able to help people track and set their goals, being able to help people create data around their own journey to then evaluate and tweak and use that as an extremely powerful tool. I started to then blend all of these worlds together, and that's where so much of the magic has happened, which has been really interesting. I think maybe, I know hindsight's 2020. I wish I had done it sooner, but we have to go through these things where I was resistant to mixing up the 2 for a while because I wanted so badly to just say, I'm on my own now and this is what I'm doing. So if you've seen, we've had rebranding of our site, our offers, and our messaging. And you're going to see me moving away from classifying myself as a health coach and classifying myself now as a consultant. And within my services and my offers now that have been reworked and evolved, the position that I'm taking feels much more aligned to looking at the person as a whole person. And of course, my extensive knowledge in health and fitness plays into that, and it is definitely incorporated into my offerings. But I'm also now bringing that layer of ex-corporate me with my data and my intel and my reporting and the way that I can help people find more control and own their journey a little bit more through items like that. The way that I can now get people to think outside the box. And when they meet with me, they're not just meeting with a health coach who's going to talk to them about the 3 things that they think of when they think of the word wellness or health. They're going to think of so many other things that they can work on when I individually consult with them. So take a look at all of the new branding and messaging, and I think that that will become a lot more clear, where at the end of the day, I want people to feel that sense of empowerment to own their own journey. I want to give people the tools and the support so they feel confident and able to mitigate change, to mitigate the barriers that come up, to figure out their goals that are super specific and clear, to understand how to track against that and to figure out not, where did I fail, what's not working, but to actually have tangible things to look at to say, hey, this looks like an opportunity that I can improve on, or hey, this looks like I'm doing great. I want to keep on keeping on in this specific area. So it was a long time coming. It was a while, and I finally have done all of the things to do the rebrand. And, some people have asked me, oh, does this make you a life coach? And if that's what you want to think of it as, sure. I am independently consulting humans as that side and silo of the business. I am helping people on a one-to-one or group coaching basis figure out the best way to empower themselves to move forward with more ease, more confidence, and at the end of the day, yes, to feel like their best selves. Of course, wellness and health fits into that, but it goes beyond so much more of that. So it's a combination of learning, and sometimes when you own a business and it's the first time you're doing it, you are building the plane while flying it. And I'm okay saying that. So it took trial and error. It took me actually just having to start and do it and get that feedback and intel from my clients. It took a lot of self-reflection. It took a lot of industry research, and it took a lot of talking to people to get to this point. But I'm very excited and very proud and very happy where things have landed. So I am still working with people on a one-to-one basis. And when this launches tomorrow, yes, on Saturday, my group program will be releasing to the public. It is already released to my wait list. We're going to be launching our first group program, a 6-week program where we will meet once a week in real time. There will be Monday check-ins. There will be Wednesday homework assignments, Friday personalized feedback, and Sunday accountability. And we'll be walking through different topics each week that I have been talking about on here. All of the things that go into our lives that help us feel whole and help us feel like our best selves. So I'm very excited. So be on the lookout for that, unless you're on the wait list, in which you already know what's cooking. But I'm very excited to be announcing that on, I believe, yes, the 7th. That's in 2 days. Wow. See, I don't even know what day it is. Plus, it's a short week. Anyway, that's a tangent. But I will still also be offering private consulting, so one-on-ones. Anyone that would like a personalized program as well. I think there's a lot of power that comes with group. So people that may want that extra sense of accountability and partnership. And there's also power that comes with 100% individualized attention. So if you ever have any questions on which is best for you, I'm happy to chat. But our services will still be working with people, both in group and individuals. Now, let's quickly talk about business consulting, because this is what I was saying that also made my initial jump into business confusing. Because like I mentioned, I have been working with Tara. She's incredible. And I've been doing that for almost a year as well. I jumped right into that, jumped in with 2 feet, pretty much also alongside running my business. And I have realized that it's been an incredibly fun and fulfilling experience. So we have an individual consulting side of my business and a business consulting side of my business. And with that, I've been able to consult with clients both on a longer term and short term basis, offer my industry intel and knowledge on data, marketing, media, analytics, and operations. Sometimes I have met with clients for, a 2-hour conversation. And then I have some clients that I've been working with on a longer term basis. So I did want to include that as part of my evolution, where consulting can fall into both of these categories. So as a consultant, I can do both those things. But yes, that's the second side of the business that I've been working on. Anyway, if you own your own business, you maybe get a lot of what I'm saying, where it's just super chaotic. And you really do have to, in my opinion, have this interesting balance of caution and also bravery, because we never know, first off, if anything is ever going to go according to plan. We have no guarantees. Life has no guarantees. But especially when you're just getting into something, or you are now going from having a large corporation in your wheelhouse to being just yourself, there are these moments where you have to throw pasta on the wall and see what sticks. You have to do your research and find what feels best aligned to you, and also have that notion of it might not work and you might have to scrap it. I have tried different systems and platforms. I have had failures beyond failures. Oh, let me tell you. I have had tech failures. My website has gone down and I had to pay someone $800 to fix it. There have been incredibly stressful points of all of this, but I have never learned more in a job in such a short time, not only about the business world and the industry, but about myself and my ability to persevere and developing a thicker skin when things don't go according to plan, balancing myself on when things are hard, letting myself feel it, but also knowing I'm the one that has to get myself up. I have relied on many friends who are also in this world where I don't think you would believe the crazy texts that I send some people sometimes. I mean, the absolute ricochet of it sometimes feels like I'll send a text that's like, I'm going to be on Forbes under 40, and then the next day I'm like, I'm going to fail and be homeless and live under a bridge. Like it, and no in between, it sometimes feels like. So I have learned just an incredible amount in a very short amount of time. And I am so grateful to my family who has encouraged me, my husband who has been on the receiving end of some of my insanity, in particular, my mother, who has always taught me that I can do anything that I set my mind to, but is also a very sound resource and very calm sounding board for a lot of my chaos as well. And I'm really excited for this next chapter to see where all of this goes and continue to evolve. I think that's also what I have to not be scared of is this feels so right and I am very aligned to what I'm doing, but it could all change. That's how business goes. That's how things go. So it's kind of a constant moving target, which my brain that loves a good checklist to check things off of and have them be done doesn't love. But alas, I feel as if this is where I'm meant to be, what I'm supposed to be doing. That was a very long explanation, and I think of what's happening in my world and all of the things that I'm very excited about and to come. All of the programs and offers that I have revamped and all of the other things that I am working on that are more evergreen offerings for people to have a more self-paced, self-managed option. I have felt a great sense of accomplishment and pride when my clients or people that work with me tell me they feel so much more capable to take their journey into their own hands and take their personal development and their self-improvement into their own hands. And this maybe sounds like a crazy thing to say, both in a personal and a business consulting sense. I almost feel like my job is done and I have done it to the best of my ability when they don't need me anymore, which you would think as a business owner, I'm like, retention, I want to retain every single one of you. But allowing people the ability to find the confidence to do that is something I'll never be able to get over, of just how cool it is. And watching them transform into someone who doesn't feel like they have control over their goals or their lives or their business or their operations or their organization, and working with them and giving them the tools and, you know, kind of the embrace of the arms and slowly letting it go and watching them develop and flourish. And so it is kind of backwards to say, but when I see someone that doesn't need me anymore, it's actually a really cool thing because I feel like I've done my job. I don't know if any of this is going to make sense to any of you, but that's what's happening here. And Sarah Johnston LLC is now up. Sarah Johnston Wellness is no more. She has retired, I will say. I don't want to say she's dead because I thank her for everything she has done for me, and I wouldn't be here without her. So Sarah Johnston LLC, my new website is sarah-johnston.com. New email address, sarah@sarah-johnston.com. New photos. I got a whole new set of photos, which was really fun. And I'm very proud of myself because I typically have really bad dino hands. Like when I'm taking pictures. Like I can't stop making T-Rex hands, and I didn't do that. So new photos, new vibe, and honestly, it's like new energy. I feel a fire I haven't felt in quite some time. Thank you for being here as always. I appreciate you so much. As some of you have maybe been around since I posted. I don't even know what I posted as. I should look. My first Instagram post was probably me doing some yoga pose or something when I introduced Sarah Johnston Wellness. And just how much things have changed since that, since getting certified for fitness, developing that out into getting certified in behavior change and becoming, a health coach, and all of the things that have spurred from a singular Instagram post have been kind of wild. And I want to say this as well for anyone that has considered starting something. It is hard, and I don't want to gloss over that fact. And I think you have to be really prepared for what will come your way. But if you have a passion for something, and if you know that this is something that will help people or help organizations, go for it. I know that that is a very bold statement, and there are a million things that I would probably also recommend that you do. I wouldn't recommend that you just go completely rogue and start a business out of nowhere without any type of plan. But if you have felt a strong desire and pull and passion to do something, you'll never know if it works until you try. And if I have learned anything, and I do not claim to be any guru, as 1 year in business, the one thing that I can say is be open to the involvement and be open to the changes. And if something is not going right, if something doesn't feel right, don't take it as a personal failure. Take it as an opportunity for feedback to create something even better. All right, almost 30 minutes of me talking. Happy Friday, everyone, if that's when you are listening. These are now releasing on Fridays. We will be back next week with some more guests. And I have a few guests lined up to record, which I'm super amped about. And those will be launching as the Fridays follow, right? I hope everyone has a great rest of your day. I am proud of all of you. I'm proud of myself, honestly. And thank you again for being here.